And there's always a way to consider the style, the period, the genre, to help find that sound that's going to be just right for your film. Now that we've gotten through the tone checklist, let's bring those ideas about story and character back into the picture. So again, how can story motivate music as well as your tone checklist? Well, remember, with your story, consult with the style of the film. What time period is it coming from? What kind of genre is the movie in? You know, if it's a Western or an outer space movie or a drama, there's a lot of musical information already cooked into each of these assumptions. Because remember, all films do get cut up into different primary genres at some point, after all. And there's always a way to consider the style, the period, the genre, to help find that sound that's going to be just right for your film. And the story can also have lots of emotional range. You can have friction between different characters that can have a certain trajectory in the broader story, or maybe a character has a struggle that just escalates nonstop from a resting point all the way to a critical climax at the end of the film, or maybe they start at one point and they have a critical moment halfway through the film, and then they kind of wind it back down. So every story arc is a little different, and maybe that direction will tell you a little bit about what your music is going to do. Because if you write a theme for a character that's going to have a really dramatic series of changes that escalate all the way to the end of the film, you have to know that the theme you're writing for them in the first act of the movie is going to survive the second and the third act as well. So consider the different ways that the actual story and the story structure itself can impact your music. The same, with the character. Maybe a little more musical inspiration comes from the actual qualities of your character. Who are they? When are they? And does it matter that you acknowledge when they happen to exist? Is there something in the time period that they're active in that really needs you to respond with music that matches that time and place? Maybe it's their physicality. Maybe you're writing music to a character who's like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, and just his physicality is so important to his character. He's just so blustery, overly confident, but extremely childish and wrong all at the same time. And the music captures those two facets of him, where Belle, our lead character, has a very different theme. And her music isn't necessarily subdued in contrast to Gaston. In fact, her themes are a little more confident, forward-moving, and steady. While it's not like a Superman hero theme, it is a kind of theme that really matches her knowledge, intelligence, and directionality through the story. So I think we've taken, rather than her physicality, we've gone into all these. We've looked into her more internal qualities. We're more familiar with her emotional and mental state. We know how strong her mental state happens to be. We know about certain characters' aspirations, fears, and how those even function in the story. Because remember, maybe they're motivated the whole time by something that's happened. Maybe they're seeking revenge, or they're seeking forgiveness, or there's a journey they're on that's very internal. And all of that's going to dictate what kind of music truly gets to the heart of the character, because they may not always be as obvious as a Gaston. Maybe there's something a little more complicated. So between the tone checklist, consulting with a story, developing ideas about what your characters are and what their motivations truly are, will help you find the foundation for a score. Even more importantly, it will ultimately serve the story well, and maybe your audience will just find their Goya. If you'd like to learn more film scoring tips like these, sign up for free, and I promise you, these lessons will help you on your journey to becoming an accomplished film composer.